Well, he's had time to reflect, yet Mitt Romney is still divorced from reality. In an interview with Chris Wallace of Fox News, Romney pointed to his failure to connect with minority voters as the real reason for his loss. Yet Romney is still convinced that his messaging was the problem? Really? Not his policies? Okay. Here's the former Republican nominee attempting to explain his 47% remarks.
Yeah, it was a very unfortunate statement that I made. It's not what I meant. I didn't express myself as I wished I would have. You know, when you speak in private, you don't spend as much time thinking about how something could be twisted and distorted and could come out wrong and be used. But, you know, I did, and it was very harmful. What I said is not what I believe. Obviously, my whole campaign, my whole life has been devoted to helping people, all the people. The weakness that our campaign had and that I had is we weren't effective in taking my message primarily to minority voters.
When he said behind closed doors that 47% of the country considered themselves victims who refused personal responsibility, think about who he was talking about.
It kills me not to be there, not to be in the White House doing what needs to be done.
I mean, it's a proven political strategy, which is give a bunch of money from the government to a group, and guess what? They'll vote for you. What I would do if I were a Democrat running 4 years from now, I'd say, you know what? Dental care ought to be included in Obamacare. Immigration we can solve, but the giving away free stuff is a hard thing to compete with.
I was in Iowa the other day, and someone said, "Why don't you just raise taxes on corporations?" And I said, because corporations are people.
What I said is not what I believe.
No one's ever asked to see my birth certificate. They know that this is the place that we were born and raised.
I'm not sure about these cookies. They don't look like you made them. Did you make those cookies? You didn't, did you? No. They came from the local 7-Eleven bakery or wherever.
I believe that since Roe v. Wade has been the law for 20 years, that we should sustain and support it. And I sustain and support that law and the right of a woman to make that choice.
And that's why, as a pro-life Republican, I'm in favor of having the Supreme Court overturn Roe v. Wade.
What I said is not what I believe.
So when asked, will I preserve and protect a woman's right to choose, I make an unequivocal answer, yes.
I believe people understand that I'm firmly pro-life.
Those people who have come here illegally and are in this country, the 12 million or so that are here illegally, should be able to sign up for permanent residency or citizenship.
People respond to incentives. And if you can become a permanent resident of the United States by coming here illegally, you'll do so.
What I said is not what I believe.
He didn't create the recession, but he made it worse and longer.
How can we continue to say that things are worse when they really aren't worse?
I didn't say that things are worse.
I believe, based on what I read, that the world is getting warmer. And number two, I believe that humans contribute to that.
My view is that we don't know what's causing climate change on this planet.
President Obama's troop withdrawals in Iraq and Afghanistan were quite apparently based upon electoral expediency, not military requirement.
It's time for us to bring our troops home as soon as we possibly can.
What I said is not what I believe.
Do you believe that there should be a timetable in withdrawing the troops?
Well, there's no question but that the President and Prime Minister al-Maliki have to have a series of timetables and milestones that they speak about.
I do not support and have never supported a timed withdrawal. I've never talked about a timed withdrawal with a date certain for us to leave. That's not the case. Simply wrong.
We may make mistakes as a nation from time to time and step on others' toes, and we'll say we're sorry for that, but apologizing for America is something I will never, ever do. And we'll say we're sorry for that.
What I said is not what I believe.
To a certain degree, when you hear about the rebranding, aren't people saying they want to distance the party from you?
Well, I recognize that as the guy who lost the election, I'm not in a position to tell everybody else how to win, all right? They're not going to listen, and I don't have the credibility to do that anyway.
What does the Republican Party need to do to reach out and attract more voters?
Well, first of all, I lost. And so I'm not going to be telling the Republican Party, come listen to me. The guy who lost is going to tell you how to win. It kills me not to be there, not to be in the White House.